Should you take a food sensitivity test or a DNA test to determine what foods to avoid in order to potentially lose weight? Absolutely not. I cannot stand these tests. I think they are a huge scam. I'm going to have a longer blog post about this next week with a long answer and all the scientific studies behind it as to why they are not a good idea by any means. But in this little video, I'll tell you just a quick rundown of why you don't need to waste your money on taking these tests. So people take these food sensitivity tests in order to determine what foods they should avoid, right? Maybe they're feeling bloated, or they feel gassy, or they're feeling tired, they have headaches, these small little symptoms. I shouldn't say small because they're real and they're uncomfortable, but they're thinking they're caused by certain foods. I want to tell you a little bit about how a lot of these food sensitivity tests work. I'm going to talk briefly about this one that's pretty popular now called Everlywell. It was featured on Shark Tank a little over a year ago. My husband actually did the test and he wanted me to do it, and I refused because I don't really believe in these tests at all. And he did the test and he got this whole long list of at least 10 different foods he was supposed to avoid. One of the foods on the test was the crab, right? He barely eats crab, and 2 days prior to taking this test, he ate crab cakes actually at a restaurant, and it came up on his food sensitivity test as a food he should avoid. He had no reactions, no problems after eating the crab. Here's why I don't like food sensitivity tests. A lot of the times with these tests, when they take your blood, right, for the test and they send you back the results, what's coming up on the test are foods that you probably eat pretty often, or they're foods that you have recently eaten when you've taken that test. For example, I guarantee you if I take the test right now, I would be allergic to, or I wouldn't be allergic, I would be intolerant to almonds, right? I drink almond milk, I eat almonds, so it probably would come up on my test as being intolerant to it simply because I just ate it recently, right? That's how a lot of these tests operate. That's why in the Everlywell Facebook support groups, people go in there and they're like, well, I can't, I am allergic to gluten, I can't drink this, I can't eat that, what am I supposed to do? What these tests ultimately do is they're feeding into America's obsession with knowing what we can and cannot eat, right? Instead of us really learning about the proper foods that are healthy, okay, foods to avoid, not just because we're intolerant to them, but in general, because they're shitty foods, right? That's really what we need to learn. And that's what we're slowly uncovering in the food industry, and how the food industry is just wreaking havoc on our health. We take all these kinds of crazy tests. DNA tests, same thing. I know some people take them because they want to learn about things they're intolerant to. I think DNA tests are great if you want to learn more about your ancestry, or if you want to connect with your long lost family member, something along those lines, okay, if it's family related. But in terms of intolerances or something you would do for maybe weight loss, right, not a good idea. Okay, the best thing you could possibly do in order to learn what foods you're intolerant to is to simply eliminate them from your diet for at least 2 weeks and see how your body responds. Once that 2 weeks is up, slowly add them back into your diet, one food group at a time. So let's say you take out dairy, you take out nuts, you take out eggs, okay? And then you take out rye. Rye is another common one. Start adding rye back first for a few days, then add back eggs, then add back dairy, right? So one at a time, and see how your body responds. That's really the only way you're going to know if you're intolerant to a food. Now, there is a food test that I do think is a good idea, and that's the food allergy test. If you're having a severe allergic reaction to a food or to something, you're not sure what it is, let's say you're having migraines, or you're having skin breakouts, or severe indigestion, you're having a hard time breathing, anything like that, that is a food allergy, and that's very different than a food intolerance. And food intolerance is gas, bloating, maybe joint pain, headaches. That's a food intolerance. And I'll tell you what, guys, also pay attention to how much you're eating of these foods. Anything that you eat in excess or you eat too quickly will cause bloating, okay? I absolutely promise you that. If you're eating too fast, you're eating too much, you're gonna be bloated no matter how much you eat, right? If you eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables, you're gonna get gassy. That's what these foods do. That's how they break down in your system. So just be smart about what you're eating and really think about it before you jump in and spend $200+ on a test that's probably gonna be bogus. that's my 2 cents right there. Any other questions about these kinds of tests, feel free to comment below. Like I said, I'll be posting more of the scientific research behind the food sensitivity tests next week. Talk to you all soon.